Hi there, my name's Andy Young, and I'm standing here in the middle of Oxford. St. Luke's Chapel is behind me. We're on the Radcliffe Observatory Quarter, and it is a freezing December afternoon. And I wanted to shoot this video to simply say thank you. To say thank you to all those who are praying, who are supporting, who are giving, who've expressed great interest in the church planting work we're doing here in Oxford. I want to say thank you to individuals, to individual Christians, to Christian couples and families, to churches, to elderships and sessions and diaconates, to missionary boards who are behind us, praying for us, encouraging us. I very much appreciate all that you're doing, all the support you're giving, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't be planting a church here in Oxford, a Reformed and Presbyterian church, without your help. So thank you so much. This year has been a challenge for us all, 2020, with COVID-19, the pandemic, lockdowns. We've been severely restricted as a church, and I'm sat here right outside St. Luke's Chapel. We haven't met here for our morning worship services since 15th of March of this year, and that has grieved our hearts. It has meant we've had to go online. A lot of our ministry has been online, and that's been a real challenge. Our outreach as a church plant has been greatly restricted, and so there's a lot that we had planned for this year, a lot we'd hoped we would do that we've not been able to do. And so it has been a challenging year. I'm conscious it's been challenging for all of us, for those in America, for everyone across the world, as churches have had to try to adapt to this pandemic and to lockdowns and to social restrictions, and to mask wearing and all of this. So it has been a challenge. I won't hide that from you. And yet, in all of these challenges, God has been good. And who'd have thought that during a lockdown and during a global pandemic that God could build his church? But that's what he's promised to do. That's what Jesus Christ said he would do, and that's what he's been doing here. And so we thank God for that. One of the things we are incredibly thankful for is the Friends Meeting House, where we meet for our evening services. It's located just behind me there. You can see the red door, and it looks like just a house front, and yet it's more than that, as you're going to see in a few moments as we walk through. It goes through to a garden and to a large meeting house that we've been meeting in for our evening services. And it's been such a joy to be back in person. We were back in person in August, September and October, went into another lockdown in November, and just recently in December we're back to our in-person services here. You can see how centrally located the Friends Meeting House is. Just over my right hand shoulder you'll see there the Eagle and Child pub. That's where the Inklings, C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien used to meet to drink beer and to talk about their writings and to discuss ideas and philosophy together. And actually just further a little bit down here, we're right in the centre of Oxford, is the Martyrs Memorial, where people like Nicholas Ridley and Hugh Latimer were burnt at the stake many hundreds of years ago. Despite the lockdown, despite the challenges that we have experienced this year, trying to plant a church during a pandemic, we've got so much to be thankful for. Not just the use of these premises, but the Lord has added to us. He's added families, non-Christians, Christians moving into the area. We're actually pretty encouraged, so much so that when we came back together in term time, we had to go to two in-person services, 5 o'clock and 6:30, just so we could accommodate everyone with social distancing. So please, despite the difficulties, despite the challenges that this year has shown, we're so thankful to God for all he has done with us and for us, and we'd invite you to join us in thanking God for his goodness to us. We're now in the Friends Meeting House. We've come through the front door, we're in the building, and I want you to follow me out into the garden area. As you can see, what looked like just a front space, a front house with a door, actually goes back a long, long way. This is very typical of architecture and buildings in Oxford. What looks like small frontages actually have deep recessive space at the back into the gardens and quadrants and other buildings, and it's the same here. And you can see this is a lovely garden space, and we're so thankful for it. During the months of August and September and October of this year, when we could meet back in person, there were less restrictions, government restrictions on meeting outside, and it meant we could meet here here together, and we had some sweet times of worship and fellowship here in this garden area. Now we're meeting in the actual meeting house itself. You'll see behind me this building, the green door, the doorway in, and we meet there, and we're so thankful to God for the provision of these premises, these buildings for us to use right in the centre of Oxford. Please be praying for us for the year ahead for 2 or 3 things. First of all, as much as we're thankful for St. Luke's Chapel, even though we haven't been able to get back in there yet, and for the Friends Meeting House for us to meet, we're really outgrowing them. We need bigger space. And we're looking for the Lord in the future to provide our own building for us, a more permanent location. That's going to be a big ask. Looking for real estate in Oxford is a bit like looking for real estate in Manhattan. But nonetheless, we're looking to our God and we're praying for him to bless us. Please pray for wisdom, for strength and provision for our own building at some point in the future. Please also continue to pray for growth. The Lord has wonderfully and surprisingly blessed us during the lockdown with new people, but we need more. We need more core families. We'd love to be looking to train up office bearers, deacons and elders for the future. So please be praying for families and individuals and young people to come and join us and add to the work here in Oxford. Finally, we'd love to see conversions. I've heard during the lockdown of the Lord really opening up hearts in amazing ways. People who are unchurched, who've had no contact with the gospel, no interest in Christianity, starting to ask big questions. We ourselves have seen people join us online who are starting to come to our in-person services. And so please pray that the Lord would be at work and be bringing about conversions and adding to the church those who are to be saved. Thank you again for all your support, for all your prayers, for all the interest in the work here. Please be in prayer for us. And I long for the day when I can return to the US and come and visit many of you and give you an in-person update on what the Lord is doing. Until then, may the Lord bless you and keep you and be with you. And thank you again for your support and prayers.